Today we're making plum jam. Welcome back to HLM BBQ, and let's get started on Liz's plum jam. You'll need about 2.5 pounds of plums, washed, then carefully remove the pits. Don't remove the skin. Plum skins naturally contain high amounts of pectin. Pectin is responsible for keeping the jam gelatinous. Pectin also keeps all the guts inside the fruit while the plum is still on the tree. Otherwise, you'd have sloppy soup fruits falling all over the place. We believe these plums are of the Satsuma variety. They ripen perfect in June and perfect to steal from your neighbor's tree when they're on vacation. We are weighing our fruit on a portable scale, and we want roughly 2 pounds of fruit. And once this is all done, you should fill roughly 9 4-ounce ball jars. Next, add 2 cups of white sugar, then mix well. Leaving the skins on the plums means this jam will be tart. The sugar will cut down on the tartness, so feel free to add more if you prefer a sweeter jam. And we want to thank you for returning to our channel. If this is your first time, thanks for showing up. We have videos like this dropping every 2 weeks. Now, this jam already looks incredible, but it needs about 30 minutes to macerate. This softens the skins and flesh of the fruit, making it easier to smash to smithereens. Now let's sanitize the containers. Add your glass jars and lids to a large pot, cover in water, and bring to a boil for 5 minutes. Next, add 1 tablespoon of either fresh lime or lemon juice to the fruit sugar mass mixture. Do not skip this step. The acid in the lime juice not only helps the pectin form strands that add to the consistency of the jam, but more importantly, it increases the acidity level so you can safely can. Now make sure you add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and mix the fruit mixture well, and add it to a large Dutch oven. Bring the mixture to a boil, mixing frequently so it doesn't burn. Once boiling, reduce to a simmer and mash with a potato masher or a giant fork or some other type of mashing device. You'll notice after doing this, some scum will rise to the top. Remove this with a spoon and discard. You don't need any more scum in your life. Now continue to simmer and mix until it starts to thicken. Now, this right now is a little bit too light. You want it to slowly drip off a spoon or a spatula. Now, don't worry if it's a little thin. The pectin will thicken this up. Now, we like the viscosity here, so carefully remove the jars with sanitized tongs and set up your work area. Keep the water in the pots as you'll use it again. Sanitize a pouring spoon and ladle the jam mixture into each ball jar, being careful not to contaminate the glass or any of the utensils that you're using. Once the jars are filled, you're going to want to grab a stirring stick or a chopstick and gently run it along the inside of the jar, removing any bubbles trapped under the jam. Grab a damp paper towel or a rag and wipe any excess jam away from the sides of the jars to ensure a proper seal. Now carefully remove the metal lids, being careful not to contaminate them, and set them gently on top of each jar. These things are still hot, so try not to burn your fingers like Liz may have just done. Once the lids are on the jars, then screw on the metal ring tight to create a seal before placing these back into the pots of water. This is where the canning process ends. Make sure each container is covered with about 1/2 inch of water. Boil for about 10 minutes to ensure any additional bacteria is killed and to make sure that these jars seal once they cool. After they boil, remove from the heat and set on a wire drying rack. This will keep the jars off of the counter and let air circulate around the container so that they cool a little bit quicker. Within a few minutes, you should hear popping sounds, and there's nothing like the feeling when you get a nice can popping. You know it's sealed when you can no longer push down on the lid. Now we know you're hungry, but wait a day for your jam to set up. Then you're ready to eat. Open the jar, you should feel the lid suction to the top. You should use the back of a spoon if you're having trouble. Toast some sourdough bread with butter and spread this beautiful jam. It smells like fresh plums. Not ironic because obviously this is plum jam, but it seriously is so fresh. I've never had jam like this from a store. There's a slight tart from the skin, which adds an amazing texture. I can tell you this jam is so easy to make because I didn't have to do anything. I just got to watch Liz the entire time. Thank you so much for showing up, and we hope to see you in 2 weeks.